Shut up and sit down.
Hello and welcome to Project MR2. I'm just addressing the small little rust bubble I had from a previous repair. So I've just taken all of the lip of the arch, all the way round, down to bare metal. Taken probably about an inch down to bare metal, feathered it all in, quickly masked it off, laid some high build primer on it. I'm now going to pull the primer, I'm just going to give it one more coat of primer, and then I'm pulling all the masking tape off. And then I'm going to flat it with 800 paper just to blend it back into the original paintwork. And then I'm going to put a coat of Astral Black 202, I think the paint code is. I'm only going to rattle can it. Yeah, Toyota Astral Black is the colour of this car. Because when I get the wings off, which they are coming off, we're going to flatten properly, both of them, and the bumper, because I found a few little chips in the bumper that I don't like, and I don't want to spot repair it, but I wanted to do that bit of rust before it got any worse, so I don't end up buying a new wing. So for now, it's not going to be the most amazing repair on the planet, but it's going to look better than a few little bubbly rust patches. So another coat of primer, and I'm going to flat it down. I'm going to blast a couple of coats of top coat on, then let it go hard, and then wet sand it, T-cut it, blend it back in. It's going to look a lot better. I'm with Project MR2 tonight, and I'm doing the only rust repair I can find on the car. This rear wheel arch has been repaired at some stage in its life, and they touched it up by just spraying over the stone chips and the bit of rust that had formed on the outer skin of the wing in about this area here. And it was the one and only thing to me that was letting the whole car down, body-wise. There is some other repairs on the car. This bumper in this sort of area has got a very mottled finish to it. It's had a repair just here. Somebody scratched it. That'll flat sand out. That will flat sand out. I'm not worried about that. But I wanted to get rid of the little bit of corrosion. It doesn't matter on an MR2 because this panel unbolts. It's only a single skin. There's nothing behind it other than the pipe for the air cleaner, the duct that goes and feeds engine into the air into the engine. So this panel's easy to replace. But I'd rather repair something and keep the original panel on the car. Even if that had been rotted out, I would have welded in new metal. I'd have stitched new metal in just to keep the panel as original as possible. I think cars should have their original panels if at all possible. But you're probably noticing watching the channel now, I will have a go at absolutely anything on a car, be it mechanical repairs, welding repairs, bodywork, painting, because all the work is in the prep. I'll tell you a story. Not the Yaris I've got now, not the GR, but my Dynamic. I'd parked it in Colwyn Bay one day, and somebody reversed into the front bumper. Imagine this is the front bumper, and they caught it here, put a ding in it, and scraped all the plastic and the paint. The car was due to go back about 2 weeks later, so I could take ownership of the GR. Now, I repaired that plastic panel. I spent 2 days repairing it. And when I took it down for them to assess the condition of the car, the body shop manager came and had an assessment of the car. And he couldn't find the repair. If I put my mind to it, I can do a good repair. And you won't see it. But I did spend a lot of time, but it was only a little repair about that big. But I did repair a big area, and I think that's the trick to repairs like this. Because this repair was only a little bit here, a little bit on the edges, but I'd rather go the whole hog. Now I'm in the process of flat sanding it now, so there's no edges. This just blends into the original paintwork. So when I put top coat on, I can flatten all this and I can come up and blend it in, and then I can wet sand it out so you can't see the repair. This is going to take me a couple of days to do, on and off, but you can see where I'm up to on this panel now. I'm just going to carry on tonight, rubbing it down, flattening it off, cleaning it, making sure there's no imperfections in the high build primer, making sure it's flat, give it a good key, and then I'm probably just going to put a really fast dust coat on tonight of top coat and leave it. So I'll bring you along when I start flatting off and I'll show you my process. Well, initially I'm using a 400 wet and dry, lots and lots of water. I'm going to drop down to 800 in a little bit. I'm just getting this blended. You can hear when it's where you've got rough, like here now, the sound's just changed. Lots and lots of fresh water all the time. Just keep lubricating your paper. I'm going on to 800 now. Again, lots and lots of water. You always paint further out than you need to, because you can wet sand any excess off, and your blend will always be better. And I much prefer to rub down by hand. I haven't broken through any of the original paint. The paint is actually quite thick on this car. But I've come up now to a natural curve in the body panel. And I flatted way beyond it, because that's where I'm going to blend my paint in. That feels really nice. I'm not going to touch the paint, I just want some heat. I just want a bit of heat in the panel. I could get the hot air gun out. But that's just put enough heat in the panel to get rid of the moisture from me rubbing things down. I've got no rubbing alcohol. See, there's still a little bit of moisture on it. That's what I've got to get rid of now, because that will affect the first coat of paint. Oops. That's no good now. I dropped it on the floor. That is actually ready for a very, very light dust coat of top coat. And this car is paint code 202. It says on the chassis plate, and it should be Toyota Astral Black. I would never paint a whole car with an aerosol tin, but for doing small touch-ups, nothing wrong with it, nothing at all. There's no point getting the gun out, getting the compressor going, mixing paint up, when I can just go and buy what I need to do a generalised repair. 2 or 3 minutes of giving this a good shake now. And then we'll put some top coat on. I've just wetted all the floor down so it keeps any dust whilst I'm walking around from coming up and affecting the paint finish. So here goes. Just a very, very light dust coat is all I'm putting on for the first coat. No more. Give it 10 minutes to dry and start building it up slowly. And I'm just going to carry on shaking the can whilst it's drying. That's my second coat. That's gonna be left again for another 10 minutes now. And I'm just gonna slowly build it up. And I've just seen a run. Again, I'm not gonna worry about the run because I can flat sand that out afterwards. That's one of the disadvantages of spraying with a aerosol. They are prone to runs if you're trying to put too much paint on. But I think it's run off a part of the panel I haven't flatted down. I've probably gone a bit too far. Yeah, I've got a little run just here I can see. That'll flat out. Ten more minutes of shaking, another sup on my beer, and we'll do it again. Black, especially when it's not a metallic, is probably one of the most forgiving colours to paint because it's so easy to blend back in afterwards. It's such an easy colour to paint. It's a hard colour to keep clean, but it's a nice colour to paint. Lots and lots of tea cutting going to be done on this afterwards, after I've wet sanded it. I'm going to finish my tin of beer. I'm still shaking the tin of paint. And we'll blast another coat on in a minute or two. I've actually just turned my heater on in the garage. I've got a diesel burner. One of these little Chinese diesel heater burners. And this thing will bring the garage temperature up really quickly. I just thought, oh, I don't normally use it in the summer, but whilst I'm painting, I thought I'd put it on. It's just igniting now. The click you can hear is the fuel pump taking red diesel out of the fuel tank. It's not ignited yet, it will do in a sec. And I'm running it off an Odyssey 12 volt battery hooked to a battery charger, just to give it a nice steady electrical supply. At the moment I've got it on full blast whilst it ignites. I find that's the best way to get this heater to work. It's just ramping up now. You can hear the blower in the motor. It's just changed tone. It's ignited. I've got warm air coming out of the duct. There it goes, it's now running. That'll now bring the temperature up in the workshop really quickly. Ambient at the moment is 18 degrees and it will not take very long. That is now belting out really hot air, and this garage is really well sealed, so it won't take long to bring the temperature up to about 25. Won't take very long at all, probably 10-15 minutes. We'll let that run. I can feel the heat from the heater because I've ducted it up and over the top of the bench. I can actually feel it in this corner already. Let's get some more paint on. Well, that's coat number 3. And I have come up a little bit further than I flattened off, but I'm going to wet sand all that out to get a really nice finish. I won't touch that again tonight, other than putting one more coat of paint on, and tomorrow I will wet sand the entire panel to get rid of any imperfections. Any runs I've got, which I will get, you're going to get it when you're painting, I'll wet sand them out. And you'll not even know they were there. I just want one more coat of paint on when that's gone off, and I'm walking away from it tonight and leaving it. I'm going to get loads and loads of comments to say I've done this totally incorrectly. But when I finish wet sanding that panel and cut it back, you'll not see that repair. Because I've gone so far up the panel I can blend it in. That's going to be a really, really nice repair, and it's taken my eye off the little rust bubble I had, which was annoying me. I knew it was there when I bought the car, and this was a job I wanted to do amongst all the other jobs, but the mechanical jobs for me were the really important ones. Bodywork, I like doing bodywork because it's a job that takes time and patience, and it's worth having a go yourself. If you get a run, you make a mistake, don't worry about it, let the paint go hard, get your wet and dry out, sand it back down, put some more paint on, just build it back up again. I know I'm going to get people going, oh, look at that repair, it's absolutely awful. But at the end of the day, you've got to remember, there's lots and lots of paint imperfections on this car. It's spent 22 years on the road, so it will have had a few little spot repairs on it. Accept it, it's what it is, it's a 22-year-old car. But make it yours. It's not somebody else's car, but the satisfaction is you've done it yourself. You've not farmed the job out, you've not given it to somebody else to do. Whatever mistakes you've made, they're your mistakes, and it's the only way to learn how to do things. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake, just start again, flat it off. It's easy, just have some patience. That's all it is, a bit of patience. Anyhow, I'm going to leave that there now. I'm not going to show you any more painting. I'm going to spend another hour in here just building the paint up, putting some more coats on, and I'm going to leave it at that. Tomorrow, once it's gone hard, I'm going to wet sand it and I'll bring you back. Because all this now, I can feel where the excess paint's gone on. I can feel it's not as smooth as here. This will just wet sand out. Some 1200 wet and dry, load of T-cut, polish it all back up. It'll look absolutely lovely, because I can show you imperfections on the paint all over the car. Let me show you this one. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. Let me get a light. There's an imperfection there on the bonnet. It's not showing up in the camera very well. There's another imperfection here. But they're part of the character of the car. You've got to remember it, she's 22 years old. There will be little marks on her. It's like I've got loads and loads. There's a stone chip there, there's a stone chip there, there's one there, there's one there. I'm going to go through the same process. Spot repair all these stone chips across the top of the windscreen. But that's something you get on a low sports car. The stones hit the car all the time. If you're following somebody, it's always flick, 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 and it chips the paint. But it's so easy to repair them. But she's in remarkable condition for 22 years. She's not covered in them. The bonnet hasn't got any on. The bonnet survived remarkably well. There's a few. There's one there. There's another one there. There's another one there. There's another one there. We can spot repair all of these. But what do you expect? There's another repair there somebody's done. They haven't filled that one in properly, but I can spot repair that. I can make it look better. But so what? As long as she's structurally sound and she's mechanically sound, that's what matters. As long as there's no serious corrosion on the chassis and all the mechanical bits work, we can have some fun with this car. She's going to be good fun, but I am nowhere near finished with it. There's loads and loads of stuff I want to take off, clean, repaint, make look better. I just don't like rusty components. All the links on the back suspension, they all need to come off. The anti-roll bar needs to come off. It needs to be cleaned, repainted, put back on. New bushes. They're all jobs over the winter. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.